This week on Call The Midwife After Show, Trixie takes a nosedive while Monica Joan orbits her way to become a bride of science. All that and more coming up.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Call The Midwife After Show. I'm John Comerford, joined in the studio by Tamara Burke.
Tamara Burke. Hi, everybody. Sorry.
And Courtney Stewart.
Hello. I haven't done this before. What?
And it's different every time.
It is different every time.
Speaking of different, we, of course, had a couple of different births this time.
Yes.
One I hadn't seen where they went away completely. And we also had somebody chomping on some coal, which I thought was very interesting. I hadn't heard of Pik-a. I didn't know they had a name for it.
Yeah.
But as it was happening, and I said to Tam, I'll say it to you, it's like, oh, look, it's the coal biter's daughter. So for those who don't know if that'll translate across the pond, but America will like that one. It's all right. So we start out with the Gandhis, and I thought the sister wife coming into it was a surprise. Was not expecting
Sister,
that.
wife, cousin.
Yeah, there was all that too.
Indeed.
We kept it familial.
Yep.
So
Parveen, who's 15 years old.
yeah, 15. That was the other thing. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, was
Child
it
bride.
right? Not enough that it was somebody that was an arranged thing, and he didn't apparently. The Mr. Gandhi didn't want this, didn't have anything to do with it. It's an arranged situation with their families, and I think his mother set it
My
up.
mother decided, and your
Yeah,
family
and your
agreed.
family agreed to it.
I'm so sorry, he said.
Yeah, and of course, I understand arranged marriages, but they looked like they were 40-ish or
Right,
something.
yeah,
It's like
she
they're
was-
still arranging these?
She was more than twice Parveen's
Yeah,
age. She
that-
was
that
definitely
part,
over
yeah.
30.
Yeah,
So yeah, but
yeah.
I would say 40.
Yeah, and that was just, when does that ever stop? How does that work?
I guess
don't
they
know.
got nervous, they're getting on up
Because
in age.
you think it was all
produced-
because it was the fact that she wasn't able,
Yeah,
or they weren't able to
probably
conceive.
that they maybe they would have left it alone had they
Yeah.
been able to have kids, but they're like, absolutely not. Our bloodline will not stop.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, Parveen, you poor girl.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was a wonderful shock there when we came home there, huh?
Quite.
To see-
She's like, I'm going to see my cousin.
yeah, yeah,
Wait, you're pregnant?
Wait, where's your
it's yours?
husband?
yeah.
You get hit with it all.
Yeah.
What?
Where's your husband?
Wait, what?
Wait, you
Wait,
impregnated?
Wait,
it's
what?
yours?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be second.
Yeah.
So just curious, ladies, if you came home, how would that go over in your world? I'm just curious. Anything you want to add? to that?
Culture is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And wow, because she didn't stab nobody.
No, she didn't.
She didn't cut him. She didn't slap him. She just
didn't.
felt sick and went out the room.
Yeah.
She was very disappointed.
Yeah. She was sad and
She was
disappointed.
sad and upset.
I didn't
I feel rage and grief for myself and for my marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, when she put it on herself, man.
Yeah, and then she was felt this. What she said, she felt despised by herself. Or
Yeah, she despised
She
herself.
despised
Despised
herself. Is that
herself.
how she said it? Yeah,
Yeah.
because then Monica, Julianne said, well, "I don't despise you." So
Yeah.
again, as Julianne would, but the whole idea that you are now obviously you have a life with this is an arranged marriage to begin with. You
Yeah.
married your husband when you were 15,
Right.
didn't know each other, didn't know love. They learned, and they had that conversation, but we didn't even know what love was. We learned how to share, and of course she says we can't share this.
No, we can't.
But
Share
the fact that you've been together for over 20 years or however many years it is.
Let's say 20.
Let's just
Yeah.
say 20. And then this comes, and the fact that you weren't able to have children, which was a big part that you were hoping to have.
Right, but our business was our child.
Yeah.
Child, exactly.
Yeah, it's not like we were
We
sitting
learned to
around
be
not
proud
doing anything.
because of it.
Yes. I
Yeah.
thought she had some fair points.
Yeah.
She had some great points.
And all that you would have funneled into a child or children, you had used elsewhere.
You know, and it's 1963 in the
Yeah.
show, and so it's interesting because in so many ways we keep leaving in the past certain conventions and certain traditions that
Yeah, they keep talking
you know,
about how we're moving on,
Exactly.
we're advancing. Here
And
we are
then-
in the over, yeah.
and then someone like you say from another culture comes in and says, "Oh, hold on a second, we're gonna revisit this one."
Actually, we're still there, guys. And there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
so-
can't even imagine coming home and finding a 15-year-old cousin
A
who's pregnant.
15-year-old that's pregnant.
Yeah, by your
And your
husband.
husband being like,
but
"Hey."
your husband never thought to tell you what happened when
Like,
he
he
went
couldn't
back to
slide that
yeah,
in,
exactly.
like-
Well, let's not use that term.
Oh.
So let's just say so.
He already did that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
But the idea that he went home for his father's funeral and then
Yes.
obviously things took place.
Yes.
Let's
Some
just
things
say.
transpired.
And he came back to his wife, didn't say a word about any of it.
A letter could have gotten there before he
Yeah,
did.
exactly,
Because apparently
exactly.
at least 7 or 8.5 months have
Months,
passed.
exactly.
It doesn't take that long for a letter to get to
Yeah,
the UK
yeah.
from India or
So-
Pakistan.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but not a word is
I should don't
spoken
get a
about the whole
warning,
thing.
man.
He
yeah.
was so sorry.
yeah.
I'm sure he
Because
was.
any one of those things. Hey, by the way, when I went back for my father, remember my dad died and I had to go back.
Right.
While I was there, my
Hey,
mother.
The
Suggestion.
craziest thing
Exactly.
happened.
Yeah, exactly.
There's this
You're,
girl.
There was
you're
this
not going to
thing.
believe it.
It didn't mean
kinda
anything.
made me-
Exactly. I had to do it. And maybe he didn't know she was pregnant. I don't know that we don't know that part, but the fact that
But he
the
knew he
arrangement
had
was
to
made
get
and
it in.
exactly.
Like, come on.
So yeah, and I thought it was like, where was that conversation? Where was and you didn't think to tell me?
Not at
So
all.
yeah, I was just wondering. It was like, wow, they skipped over that part of it. So because I would have thought that would have been an interesting
Well, the
thing.
theme of the episode was acceptance. So
Yes.
she just accepted that. Like it's just gonna be.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it now.
Well, she's had to accept a lot of things. You know, she can't bear children. All this. But I'm just gonna have to accept this as well. In fact, she brings that up. So yeah, okay.
Well,
So, but where are we in the storyline? I'm still stuck on that part. The fact that he got away with not saying anything.
Well, and the Brits are a little perplexed as well. You
Yeah.
know? Valerie learns about that. No, but where's your husband?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Is that your mom?
Yeah.
Where's
that's my
your
cousin.
husband?
She's
That's my
very
cousin.
pretty.
What? Oh, I
Yeah.
see. And then Dr. Turner.
Yeah.
Well, that's none of my concern. But
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and then around the dinner
Yeah.
table at Nonnatus, little conversation about, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Everybody says, you know.
Yeah, what can you do about it?
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
But so they continue on, and you know, every time I thought they did a really nice job with Mrs. Ganis. I think her name is Montaz. When she, well, for instance, like when she's talking to who was it the first time? When she leaves the room, right? I forgot when it was. Oh, well, a better indication of this after the child is born and he finally comes in, the father finally
that
comes
was
in and
awful.
says, yeah, it was
Yes.
that
horrible.
was awful.
It was hard when he
'Cause
says,
you
"I have a son, my son," and then he turns to Parveen and says, "Our son," and
And
then
it's only a reminder.
yeah,
that
thanks
she
very
can't
much
do
about it.
that with
Exactly,
you.
That was
exactly.
hard.
Yeah, and she had to leave the room. She had to leave the
Horrible.
room. There was one other time which I can't remember at the moment where she left the room because of what was happening between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's just
Poor girl.
killer.
After she's been there so long with
Yeah.
this man.
Yeah, yeah.
But side note, when we were talking about the conversation over dinner about everything
Yeah.
at Nonnatus house, Phyllis was talking about a dude in like Leeds, but he had
Yeah.
like a mistress
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a woman over there.
yeah.
I was like, Phyllis, I think that's not exactly like the same
Yeah,
thing. But I thought
not-
it was funny that they just
Yeah.
threw that in, and she kept going.
Yeah.
He had a wife over here, a wife over there, a girlfriend over there, a mistress. I was like, girl, that's not the same.
Yeah,
Not
no, but-
exactly. But okay.
Cute
Sure.
though.
It was cute though.
Sure.
Thanks for trying.
Yeah. Oh, and of course the birth that Sister Julianne is deciding that this isn't going to go over well without some help. It's a family sport, and I just love when she goes to Montaz and she says, "Look, I know what it's like when a baby isn't welcomed or wanted."
Yes.
And she was so
yes.
diplomatic, as she always is with those
Yes.
kinds of conversations. And I'm just going, yeah, how do you try to entice, coerce somebody to say, hey, could you help with this? How does
Chip
that?
in, would ya?
Yeah, yeah. Like, okay, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that.
Love on your second cousin / son.
Yeah, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kept thinking, so okay, first, all right, let's get to back to the story, which is the fact that so she decides that she is going to go in, she's going to help with the birth, and she gets there just in time to
Right.
help with the breathing and the pushing and the slowing down and all that other stuff.
And talking to her in her
talking
native
to her,
language.
yes, and Urdu or Pakistani, whatever.
Punjab.
Punjab, thank you.
Punjabi.
And again, because she can't have her own, this is the well, her
The
vicarious.
closest her
yeah,
experience
exactly.
is going to be to
So,
giving birth.
Still tragic.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's incredibly difficult, and of course the baby's born, and then then of course that's when we have the father moment when he comes in later and he finally says, "Oh, I have a son, my son, our son," and she's not part of that.
Yeah.
And again, she keeps saying, "Look, this is not my child. It's not my
Responsibility.
Yeah, and she keeps getting pulled back into it
Right.
Yeah.
because Parveen does. She's 15. She's not ready to do this. It's too hard.
She said, I didn't want this.
Yeah, I didn't want this.
I don't want
It's
your
like-
husband. I don't want this baby.
Yeah.
I don't want this
life.
life.
It's like,
Like,
what? What is the efficacy of this arrangement? Yeah, I just don't understand it. But again, to her credit, she decides, okay, all right, I'll help. And, decides that, and it says that nice line about my grandmother told me that in order to feed the baby, you must first feed the mother.
The baby,
She
one must
brought
feed
her-
the mother. Now, she cut her hand before that.
Oh, yeah,
Or
yeah.
stitched
Yeah.
her hand.
Yeah, exactly.
that was gross.
I just glossed over it. It's like, okay, I got to hang on for a minute.
yeah.
So,
But I did find myself sitting there coming up with all kinds of alternatives for Parveen. I was like, okay, you've had the baby. You
Yeah.
don't really want the baby. So
Right.
we can put you in school.
Yeah.
You can go and get
Yes.
educated in
Yeah.
1963 and then you can let them raise the baby
There
and you
you
can
go.
be like the sister that comes
Yeah.
by and
Yeah.
the whole thing. But
yeah.
she seemed to embrace the baby at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering because they left it a little bit ambiguous
Right.
in the
Yeah.
end about which way is it going to go.
Yeah.
Because that is a really viable possibility, and that's happened bazillions of times. And could work out as a really great solution for everyone, fulfilling a lot of needs. Or Parveen could pick up the slack and stand up and become a mother. And I mean, are they all going to live together?
I don't know, but I mean that it presented all these different detours.
I don't know. I mean, I imagine because I watched Sister Wives, and
Yeah.
they at least had their own houses as well
Right.
as on Big Love. So I was like, well, maybe she can get a flat next to theirs.
Next
But
door.
then, is that
Yeah.
weird? Because then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it would have been weirder if she stayed.
Is it?
So I don't know.
What if
I
she
mean,
she doesn't really get her own room. I don't know how many rooms that place
yeah,
had.
yeah, we didn't know that any of that part of it, but
Yeah.
it was definitely fascinating. And I was wondering how they, it's not like we're going to follow them, so it's
Right.
left out to
Yeah.
us or whatever. But it made me go, how does that work?
Yeah,
How do you?
right.
And I liked your scenario about, oh, here
Go to
we'll raise the
school,
child because
yeah.
let's make that work, and then you go off and
Because she's
get
15,
it.
you can't
Yeah,
leave
yeah,
her
yeah.
on her own in her own house.
No.
Right.
With a baby yet. Maybe. I mean, it's 63. I don't know. I don't know.
But I like that. I'm gonna
I
go
vote
with
We're
this.
gonna go with that
Send
one.
her
Yeah.
to school.
Yeah.
Raise the baby and tell the baby at 25, this is actually your mom. And then he'll hate you all and run away to America or something. Because that's how it goes.
One little
Oh.
side note on that storyline: after Mrs. Gandhi #1
Right.
impaled her hand on the sewing machine, she was brought a pot of tea.
Yes.
Yep.
Drink this. It's well sugared. And if we've learned nothing else on the Call
Yeah.
the Midwife, that
Fortified tea, is it?
fortified tea will solve anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fortified tea, well fortified with sugar,
Yep.
will save the world.
Yes,
So
exactly.
That's why
ours
we
is
drink
fortified
tea.
in a different way today.
Because we're in America.
Fortified in a different way.
Oh my
It is.
gosh.
It is.
All right, let's get to the Coal Biters storyline, just because it leads into Trixie with
Loretta.
Loretta Campbell.
Oh, Loretta.
Yeah, when she first, she's in the clinic, and I think it was Valerie that asked her to come up, and then she has, and I'm going, what is she? What is that?
Is that dirt?
Yeah, that was why.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that was like, why is she? And then the whole thing, and she's embarrassed about the whole thing. Clearly, why wouldn't anybody be? But I don't know of anybody except on My Strange Addiction who eats, right?
That's what you said when
eating couch cushions.
when-
Yeah, there you go.
when it comes out, John
Exactly.
goes, "My Strange Addiction."
Yeah, so people eat chalk, and it's like, I guess it's just it's anything else, but
I was concerned. I was like, I get the whole weird craving
Right,
thing, but
yeah.
isn't that dangerous?
Yeah,
to
that's
the
what I'm
thing?
going.
And nobody
nobody
seems to
said
be
anything, and I said,
I-
really, there aren't any health risks.
It's
I literally wrote, they're just
fine.
gonna let this chick eat coal? Why is this
yeah,
okay?
it'll go away.
If she has a sweet tea back to that, then
Yeah.
it's fine. It's gonna, it'll balance it out. She's fine.
Yeah,
She's
but-
fine. What are you worried about? It's just.
I mean, I
charcoal.
appreciated the fact that we got this, the information from Lucille about how these things happen, and that usually it stops when you have your birth and all this other stuff. But Really? There wasn't an alternative? There wasn't a suggestion that maybe try this instead? There was
Because
nothing?
there's like a vitamin in the coal that
Yeah,
you're like super
exactly.
pumped about.
Yeah,
and, like,
and maybe that's
but
what
they
the-
didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody. They were just like, oh, you eat coal. That's so cute. It's okay, girl. No, it's not okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I guess you can do it when you're pregnant, man.
I guess the thought was that they wouldn't be able to stop her, but the fact that there wasn't any suggestion of an alternative, that the reason being
They didn't even say like, oh, we should flush you out with
Yeah.
like saline or
I
something.
mean, I
like,
guess
nothing.
it's used to clear toxins in some fashion, so maybe it's a good thing. I
Yes,
don't.
it's
I don't know.
fine. I keep
do.
saying it's
Yeah.
fine.
All right. Okay. So.
I guess we do like charcoal pills and stuff.
That's what I mean.
So,
That's what.
but she was just taking it from the
right. They
furnace.
can't be. I mean,
It's more
the fact
pure
it's
that way.
toxic
No,
to
it's
breathe.
more. It's more pure that way
yeah,
for her.
right.
You guys don't get it.
Mainlining
clearly.
coal, for crying out loud.
Right. The part that was so hard for me on that was just that she was so ashamed about it. She
Right.
had this massive, guilt and concern, and
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could just crave a marmalade sandwich because
Right. From her previous,
that would be normal.
That Trixie mirror.
Yeah, which was,
Yes.
that
Oh,
was
yeah,
great.
then there's
That's why it
that,
was
yes.
fed into that, which was a terrific way to do it. It was just so interesting that they didn't do anything else with coal. They're
Nobody-
health professionals and
Didn't
nobody raised any
mention
health
anything.
issues.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It's all good.
But yeah. But anyway, so what I do like is the mirror, of course, and Trixie has a conversation with her about does it help? What do you do? And yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. So
Well, it feels good at first.
yeah, yeah. So we get this. In fact, and then really, there's not much more to that storyline. It really only feeds into Trixie's. Of course, she has the child, which we didn't get to see.
Yep.
And then once the child is born, we decide that Mr. Campbell wants to celebrate with some sherry. It's just a little bit.
Just
of
a
sherry,
little
just
bit
a
of
brightener,
sherry.
right?
No, Trixie.
So-
Little Bristol cream.
Okay, yeah. And did we all go, no, don't do it, don't
But
do
we
it?
knew she would.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
of course you do it.
Yeah.
And you,
But-
of course.
Like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
But the weirdest part about her drinking in this episode is that for the first time for me, the pregnancy that she's in real life
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the most distracting.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
was just
Yeah.
most-
Yeah.
So I was just like, I felt like I was watching a pregnant lady drink liquor.
I
And
know,
I was
Yes,
like,
that's what we were
so
saying too.
okay.
Stop it, that's bad for the baby.
Don't do that. Yeah.
It was a bit much.
Yeah, it was
but
a bit
yeah.
much. It was a bit much. Of course, and she's secretly drinking now, and going.
Ain't no one lying.
Yeah.
When she went to the meeting and didn't go to the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
And lied when she came back.
Yep.
And then when she came, and then going into the bathroom, turning on the water and drinking some more. It's like, oh boy.
She's in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I really liked Phyllis, because a lot of many people in real life would do the what's the word, non-confrontive confrontation. They would kind of skirt the issue and not really say. She just stood right in that
Just said,
center.
did
and-
you drink sherry
exactly.
on the job?
That's
And then
right.
she's like, it was just fine. No, you're
Just
out
a
of
bright-
control.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a midwife. And, I'm not a child. No, you're a nurse and a midwife, and there are rules, and boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
It's like, that's kind of how you have to do it. Now that's an intervention.
That was
that's,
real.
That's right. So yeah, it almost worked because she said she'd go to her meetings because but then she doesn't.
She does.
Yeah,
Because she's lying too. 'cause
Right.
That's
There's
what
shame
happens.
involved, and there's
She's
all
in the
kinds of
throes of
cover.
addiction,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then when Dr. Chris shows up at the house, and again, Phyllis standing in there doing things.
Phyllis regulates everything.
Yeah, exactly.
She don't need no man with another woman.
No, she don't.
Pretending like he love her.
That's right.
Don't mess with her.
Don't
All she
even.
needs is a friend, okay? Stop trying to kiss her. None of that.
What she
That was
said.
dope.
Yeah.
Go, Phyllis. We love you.
Oh gosh. And then we have he just happens to be there, so he can bump into her. They have that nice little moment, and he kisses her, and he goes, "Hey," she goes, "Hey, you shouldn't kiss me in front of the house."
Oh, we're just friends.
We're just friends. We can do that. Okay.
But I thought the next scene was even better, which is the whole thing about you need help, but she's not asking for any, so she's still the obstinate, which is the classic thing. I'm not asking for help. but you
I'm not
need-
asking, but you need it. Yes.
Yes,
Thank you for
Right,
sort
so
of
she-
allowing the space so that I could say that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Ay, ay, ay.
Takes her. Okay, so here's the question though. Did you want to bring that? Because I wanted to.
I
Get into it
do.
right
I
now.
do. So, right. So I feel like this storyline could have been more painful. You two
Yeah.
were talking
Of
about it
course.
after last week's episode. And I wanted to invite you both to
Yeah.
bring that conversation back.
Yeah, I want to be critical of it for a second because I
Agreed.
felt this was it didn't move their storyline any. It was a sideways move because to me, very little difference between the goodbye we had last week and this goodbye.
Yeah.
So it didn't move that storyline, and I wanted, and just because I don't know, I wanted it more painful.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a more heart-wrenching reason for her to fall off the wagon, more heart-wrenching reason for somebody to stand and be combative with her and confront her and make her, because this was fine, but it wasn't as dramatic or as tense-filled as I wanted it to be.
I was definitely underwhelmed.
There are times on this show in the last this series actually where I feel like I should be bawling my eyes out,
Right.
and I wasn't. I had a little you people know I will cry at anything.
Yeah.
And I had, just sort of, I was a little choked up.
Right.
And this was one of those stories because I think we talked about on the air about potentially losing a baby or coming close to losing a baby.
Yeah, that's what I was
on
thinking.
her
On many occasions, we've
watch.
seen the behavior or whatever is going on in one of the midwives' life. It causes a problem in their work, which puts somebody in jeopardy. Not that child or whatever ends up
Has to die.
Has to die.
Yeah.
We're not
Right.
suggesting that because nobody really wants to see that.
No.
But we wanted to see the real consequence or something that was more dramatic.
Yeah,
and
they didn't raise the stakes at all.
Yeah.
Like it was just like sappy again. But like the conversation she had with him to let him go was way more. I
That's
felt
what I'm
way
saying.
more
Sad.
pain than
Yes.
what happened this time when she's like, "I gotta let you go again."
Yeah,
like,
it was-
but you already did that. So
Exactly.
I needed something else.
I
extra.
wanted it elevated, and it sat flat. It went sideways rather than moving forward. And I thought, well, they had an opportunity to really just reach in and rip it
And
out.
I wonder why they didn't, because
I don't
it's
know.
obviously a conscious. Well,
Yeah.
I would think it's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing left to chance when it
Yeah.
comes to writing a TV show.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that, especially because we were also invested in Trixie,
Yeah.
and we all saw it coming. Number one, because we read the news, and
Yeah.
number two, because we saw her boobs doubling in size. So.
For the record,
Actually thinking she was very lucky that her boobs didn't look that big. Like
She was complaining about it. Helen George
Like,
was
the boobs
complaining
were
about
not
it
that
herself.
bad.
They weren't that bad. But I mean, you could tell that she
You
was
could see
gaining
baby
weight.
bump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could see the bump. But people on Twitter lost their minds last night over the fact that Trixie was leaving the show, because clearly they did not
They
do.
didn't-
They
didn't
did
know
not
that was
read,
gonna
get the
happen?
memo.
Oh.
They
They
did
didn't
not
get the
notice
memo.
the change in her shape, because they were saying that the show should be sponsored by Kleenex every Sunday, and oh, poor Trixie.
Yeah.
And then hopefully there will be long-term happiness for poor Trixie.
yeah, but I wanted to be devastated.
I did too.
I was telling Courtney about it last week. I wanted her to see Alexandra
Oh yeah.
in the
yeah.
park having a good time,
Yeah.
and she sees.
Christopher-
Trixie sees Alexandria, and then she sees Christopher,
Off
and
in the
then she
distance,
sees
kind of.
his wife there, and they're all there as a family, enjoying, having a great time. And that's Trixie's life that she can never have with her. I wanted to see that. I wanted a last moment where Dr. Chris would look back at her, and they'd share a look
They'd
to realize
acknowledge.
that they could never be.
because you're a cold soul, John.
Yeah.
So cold.
I did. I wanted to say, yeah, rip me to shreds.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
lots
I
of
have
shredding.
not had much shredding this.
This
Well, I mean, the Christmas
was-
episode
Christmas
had some,
yeah.
but the first four episodes of the season have just been, just they haven't really gone there the way they have in the past, I guess is the point I'm trying to make.
Fair enough.
And we all
I
agree
agree.
on that, yes?
I agree, for sure.
No, you're alone on that,
What
man. All the letters and all the comments go to Tamara.
Yeah. Well, maybe they wanted to pull the punch a little bit because she was way further along than maybe she was emotionally able to handle the kind of
Well,
stress
yeah,
that she
that
needed
could
to
be.
put herself
Yeah.
through to do it.
That's
Wow.
a fair point. Yeah, that's a really
maybe,
good point.
Maybe they had a
They should've got to
script
that
and they
sooner
were
then.
like, "Yeah, we didn't get there in
Get to that
time."
sooner. You could have done it last week.
They're like, "Girl, you about to have some contractions if we make you do this." So maybe that's I don't know.
One of our viewers tweeted me and said that Trixie's battle was like Thomas's suicide attempt in Downton Abbey.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah, so-
It was like
yeah.
sort of off camera mostly, and a bit of a letdown. And I agree about that. Like there were opportunities to shred us.
Right.
And let's face it, we like that.
Well, I mean, that's what
We
they're
do.
known for.
Yeah.
They set a high bar.
That's
they
true.
did. I mean, and they are victims of their own success to some degree because they set such a high bar for that kind of drama.
Yeah.
And and so some of us, me included, tend to start going, oh my God,
Here it comes.
and that's right. And there's a setup there, and you expect there's a payoff in there, and it's like, okay,
Wasn't there?
Yeah.
it's just a different choice, which is fine.
It's still
we can
good.
debate that. Absolutely, it doesn't mean it's
still
bad.
good.
It's just-
Sometimes I want to be bawling at the end of the hour. though.
Exactly.
Let's face it.
I just wanted to know why, though, she got out the car when she was done, wherever he took her. I guess,
Right,
to a
yeah, he can drive her
therapist. I
home?
was like, you gonna walk now?
Yeah. Doesn't he know she's pregnant?
Yeah. Get back in the car.
And has that big bouffant that she really had to duck to get out of the car
Yes.
with so it wouldn't get smashed.
She was protecting it very well.
Yeah, she was.
Especially the other thing is she's just been to a meeting. You already know her sobriety is tenuous,
Yeah.
and you're gonna let her walk home.
Yeah.
Right,
She
so
might
we're
find a pub.
passing the
Right.
pubs.
Yeah, it's like,
exactly.
what?
Mess. You're horrible, Kristen.
I don't know. I think there must have been extenuating circumstances on
Yeah.
set.
Right.
I think that's a really good.
Yeah, maybe she was just like, or having some doctor say like, yo, you can't, the
Right.
stress is too much. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta do a quick,
Yeah.
Who
All
knows?
right. Let's chalk it up to that,
maybe
Well-
she
or
was
charcoal it
already
up to
dilated.
that,
Or close it up to
Charcoal it
that.
up.
or cigarette butt, or toothpaste,
Yeah.
or
Well, the part that
stamps.
got me more anyway was Monica Jones' storyline because again, isn't it enough that she's already having difficulty remembering things and keeping
Now
her?
she gotta go blind. Damn. Sorry about that.
I mean, what else are we gonna throw at her for crying out loud?
So one of the
So-
things I love about Sister Monica Joan
Yeah.
is when she can say things
Oh, her language.
with
Oh,
3
my
words,
God.
she uses 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is Heidi
And
Thomas and
everyone-
Lauren Klee, I think.
Every
wrote
one
this.
of those words has a little flower petal on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or a little sparkle.
They love what she does with their dialogue, and they give it to her, and she always
Yes.
delivers.
I know, and I love it. It's
Yeah,
so
it's terrific.
because she speaks in poetry.
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for a woman who loves words and books as
You
much
would
as she
expect
does,
that.
yeah,
know,
you
she-
would.
Quotes done and the whole thing. So.
So she's the first woman is going into space.
Mm-hmm.
All the ladies are pretty excited about that, and yeah, so they're all watching that and following it, and it's a pretty amazing story. Thinking about what does that astronaut face, and what is it like for her, and go ahead.
No, I just love that. Well, if, here she is on the way out of life. Here is somebody at the pinnacle of her life. I mean, those kinds of things are running through her head, and what
Yeah.
could have been, what might have been, what was, all that stuff is, heavy with everything that she's thinking about and saying about. So that part of it I was loving, and the fact that she can't see, and the faculties are leaving her, and they're just slowly being pulled away.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
she
brutal.
feels like there's no. It's like she feels as if the process is the godly process, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
when I vowed to surrender the world of senses when I took the veil. So she's sitting there thinking, this is God's plan for me,
This is
right?
Well,
Well,
wants me
as
to
Courtney
have.
said earlier, this is about acceptance, so that's the theme in her life right now.
Right.
And then the surrendering to it.
But why, girl? Why?
Yeah, and then of course she has all the fear about going under the knife, and the-
Fear of doctors in general.
Yeah, exactly. All that.
That line was so good when she was in the surgeon's office.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's something about whatever the imaginary realm will reconcile me to your butchery, because he was talking about,
Yeah.
the local anesthesia. And
Yeah.
She just
Oh,
pops
yes.
up and
Yeah.
she's like, absolutely not. You can take me out of my head and cut me open. It's not going to happen. I love it so much.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, circling words I'm just going to start using that we
Yeah.
like never use.
Yeah, we know exactly. It's like if I had somebody writing for me, I'd say this stuff all the time.
And the little conversation with Sheila when she's trying to like coax her
Yeah.
into coming, and she
Yeah, I
was
thought
like,
it was
"Do you
great."
envisage me like crying and gnashing my
Right.
teeth.
I thought it was great that they brought Sheila in for this because, we obviously haven't seen them together in a long
Yeah.
time since she's left the house and started her own family and all that other stuff. So we haven't really seen Sheila and Monica Joan together.
Sheila was an incredibly pious nun, if we all remember, and I felt like she's sort of abandoned that part of her, not abandoned, but like separated that part of her life. And there's,
And we see her differently because she's not wearing the habit the whole time.
and having a more secular life,
Sure.
obviously. But for me, I felt like she was reconnecting to that part of her life.
And part of herself, too.
in ministering
She's talking to a sister.
Monica Joan
Yeah.
through this process, and I really loved that they brought that back.
Yeah.
That because we get to see her be compassionate, as they all get to be on every episode, but I just directly connected to her when she was a sister in the
there's
convent.
that history that they get to work
and
off of.
I appreciated that so much because I was a little critical of Sheila's storyline the last couple of weeks
Right.
because it's been a little campy and
Yeah.
sort of played for comedy, and that's something that we do on the show and it's great. But I really appreciated that they kind of circled back to the origin of Sheila and one of the foundations of her life. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead.
I believe in that.
No, I did. I thought it was great.
I appreciated it too, for that reason also.
Yeah. So right, I've curated and collected a library of books in my mind. And then Sister Julian says, "But I will not abandon you to the darkness."
Loved it. It was really personal for me.
It was.
But yeah, because I've been on the verge of being blind at
What?
21. So yeah, when I'm watching this, long story, tell you later.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I have
Posted on Twitter.
had to have surgery straight out at 21 years old. The whole thing. So like, and the love of books and reading and all of that and like everything she was saying, I was like, oh my God, it's so true, because that's all you think. I'm like, I can't read anymore? Like what? Even like, I'm not gonna, like what? So anyway, it was super well done, Monica Joan.
I'm
Random
I know, we're
information, guys.
stunned. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm not blind, because I did go under the butcher knife.
So the conversation that they had about if this is God's will for
Right.
me,
Just
and
between
With
Fred.
Fred.
yeah,
and Monica Joan.
Fred and Monica Joan's scenes were just so beautiful
Yeah.
in this episode. You know, he really, I felt he really stepped up to her level, acting wise. The
Sure,
actor
oh,
did.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, because he's not always given a lot of meat. You know,
No.
within the scenes, but I think he's brilliant in every scene. I love his interaction with Violet.
Yes.
You know, he's so tender and he's so good. But I really felt like this was, a next level opportunity for him to really get in there and just show his range.
For sure.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, and I like that they have the dueling dialogue too. She's got all this poetry and prose to her dialogue, and he was kind of he's
Brass tacks.
exactly, and he's just trying to. He's got the heart and the sentiment of it, but
Yeah.
so I just love they were playing on those different levels, and it was great.
But
Yeah.
that first time when she's coming out of the
The
shed or
garden shed,
whatever,
yeah.
and
With the
has
magnifying
thing,
glass.
and he's like,
sorry, yeah.
you're stressing yourself out, and he
Yeah.
sits down with her, and he
Yeah.
just sort of coaxes her, and she's shivered, like huddled over this way, and the big love.
Yeah.
I just they masterfully did that together.
They
I appreciate
melted
it.
things for you.
It did.
But that scene in the last scene when he was convincing her
In the chapel.
in the chapel.
Yeah.
Just
And she
talking
couldn't
about.
see. No, yeah, I loved that because you're rejecting science. And if I were the man upstairs, I'd be a little fed up with you.
That's what I mean. It's like he just says that,
Yeah.
as opposed to the poetry or whatever that he
She's like,
could
but
have
he
said.
knows my reason.
Yeah.
No, doesn't matter.
Then he also knows you're scared.
Yes.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
To bring in that.
And I thought it was a great couple. By the way, they had a great edit between. I think it was Dr. Chris and Trixie sitting on the bench, and he holds her hand. Then we cut right to the edit to Fred holding
Holding her
Monica
Monica's
Jones'
hand.
hand
Yeah.
in the chapel. It was
Yeah.
a nice little cinematic thing they did there. But then also the nice edit from after the conversation with Fred, Monica Joan goes
Bursts in, storming in, yes.
Exactly. I'm ready to
We're
go.
the brides of
Hallelujah. Exactly. The brides of science.
If an ingenue of 26 can
Yeah.
travel the Earth's atmosphere at orbital velocity, then a man
I think a woman.
a woman of science. I've got code in here.
Yeah.
Then a woman of science.
Woman of age or history.
Oh, a woman as ancient as myself can face her fear of the scalpel. I look at the astronaut and myself as brides of science, and I courteously invite you to do likewise.
And Sister Julia is trying to bust
Snap.
the bubble. Talk about, I don't really think that's the same thing. That's not the point. She said yes.
Yeah, pretty much just take it and run.
Just take it and run. Acceptance. Move on.
But we need a setup line for that wonderful outline.
It was great though. They were
It was.
awesome.
It was. And I also like that they took the time to keep the camera on her until for the look back. Just like if that wasn't enough of a mic drop, she doesn't look back at her. Then she leaves.
Loved
So
it.
there.
Yeah. That was kind of nice. So.
And then at the end, they're on the bench, and Sister Monica Jones.
Yeah,
like,
we have that nice
looking,
parallel,
and I was like,
that
yay.
parallel scene. Yeah, so
Love it.
And looking at what she's expecting to see soon, or what she's hoping to see, and also looking up into the heavens for Valentina Tereshchenko. What's her? Whatever
Sure.
her name is.
Something like
Sure,
that.
that's
Tereshkova.
right.
Sorry,
pretty close.
Tereshkova. Beg your pardon. Got them mixed
I
up.
thought it was right.
Yeah, I bought it.
So, and then we're left with what kind of acceptance is going to help us through to the next one.
Right. One of our viewers
Yeah.
thought that the theme, another theme of
Right.
the show was secrets. 'Cause
Sure,
there was,
yeah, the
you know,
secret,
the
yeah.
hiding of the magnifying glass, Trixie's secret drinking, the
Hiding of the-
secret
eating the coal, hiding the fact that you
you've got
impregnated a
wife,
15-year-old.
a pregnant
Didn't tell
wife.
anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Secrets.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
so thank you for that.
Every secret comes with an acceptance.
Also, my friend Anna talked about the amazing outfits that Trixie and Mrs. Gandhi wore.
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi's outfits were amazing.
suits
were
The
fantastic.
colors, the fuchsia and turquoise. I talked about it while we were
Oh,
watching.
right.
You saw it.
And the
mentioned it.
tailoring is fantastic.
Well, they make them. They
it
better.
was fantastic. And
Yeah.
Trixie's big coat, the black and yellow checkered,
raincoaty one?
whichever
Yeah.
one she wore to the
The houndstooth.
It wasn't houndstooth.
No, it wasn't houndstooth.
I'm
Nice
just-
try.
I'm just-
No, he just throws those words out. Tries to
Making
get
it sound like I know what I'm
But
talking
she
about.
went to the first AA meeting that she lied about.
Yeah.
And then her bathrobe was pretty open.
Oh yeah, that she was wearing the brocade, the turquoise
Yes.
brocade. She wore that in another episode. Yeah,
It was great.
Also, Trixie's hair was amazing again.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
And what did I want to mention? Oh, hey, you guys, can you do us a favor and comment on iTunes
Oh,
about
right.
how awesome we are?
We do, because we have
How
no
much
comments.
Shameless
on
plug.
iTunes. We haven't had comments in years, and
Yes.
Oh.
and they're
Because we get them on YouTube, we don't get them in iTunes.
exactly.
do
So if you
both.
can go to iTunes as well, that would be a big help.
we appreciate
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
you greatly.
Only if they're good ones, though, right? If you have something bad to say about me, send that privately. I'll take.
Sure. Do you want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So shout outs. Hey, you guys, thanks. Anna and our secret agent in London, as always. Hello. Broadway and
Secret
HD5,
agent.
Aurelia Ansa, Annie Six, Marilee Ortega, Helena Huang, Games Islander 3. I'm not sure.
what does that say?
Yeah, because they have, people have funny names on YouTube. But thank you all for your comments. I try to keep on top of them and respond. And also, Lee. Hi, Lee. And
Watching right now.
yeah, and all the gang, Amy.
And who was our newbie last week? Wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a new one last week. Yeah,
I'm supposed to write that down.
you
I'm
are
sorry,
supposed to, and
guys.
Becky as well. Sorry, Becky, I can't reveal my sources on that one. Sorry. So anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out with us and commenting and
Yeah.
tweeting and all that stuff. It's fun. It adds an extra level of enjoyment for all of us.
Yes.
For
Last
sure.
thoughts? We good?
I just really wanted more from the Trixie thing, but
Yeah.
hopefully when she comes back, I'll still love it anyway because I just like looking.
I
at
know.
it.
You want to
it's
get
true.
devastated with Sister Bernadette.
True.
Yeah, you want to get, that's it.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
It's fine. But I also like our Jamaican lady. What's her
Lucy.
name? Lucy. I'm like, what is her name?
Lucy.
I think she is the sweetest, jolliest face in the
Oh,
world.
she
she has the
is.
most tender, sweet smile. Like I just think you're so great. So that's all I had to. Because when she popped in on the coal miner.
Yeah,
coal
so
miner-
what's the deal? Because we just got another midwife, and now Trixie's gone. So we're going to have to get another, or?
Well, Babs is coming back, right?
Who is?
Oh, that's right, Barbara.
Barbara's coming
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah. Barbara's
yeah,
coming
yeah.
back next week. Babs. Sorry, I wasn't on top of it. I can't. There are so many names in my brain. I can only have room
I
for
couldn't
so
even
many.
pull out the last one. I've already forgotten
Yeah.
his name until you just said it. It's too much.
I think you need to either have more,
More
or
or
fewer.
less.
I'm not exactly sure. All right. Well,
Or fewer. You're hilarious.
More makes me more brilliant.
that's it. And I guess next week we'll have Courtney tell us her story about her.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're gonna have her
nobody
fit it
cares
into
about that.
280 characters.
I'm fascinated.
We'll get her to put it into 400 characters.
All right, look, we got to get out of here. So tell them
Okay.
where they can find you.
You can find me all over the social medias at Stuart Starlet.
I am at Tamara Berg on Twitter, Tamara A. Berg on Instagram. My website is tamaracentral.com.
And I'm on the antisocial network in the dark web. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and giving us your comments and your thoughts and ideas. We appreciate that.
Thank you,
And
thank
we will
you.
talk to you next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Cup of tea, shot of brandy.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.